Probably also make myself a bit brighter, right? That's better. Okay, stream marker, final bit of the show. By the way, thanks to everybody for tuning in and staying tuned. It's really, 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 really good. Almost time for a BRYO. It absolutely is, Trey P. So we're done. We're not done. We're not done yet. I'm just about to film this chunk. Basic attention token trending at last. It's been going so well, so strong towards the top side, coming into $160 for each individual basic attention token. But could we be looking at a potential retrace right here, right now? Well, it's one of two things. Either we blast off another significant chunk in terms of percentage moves. Really, we're going to look at something decent percentage move chunk. Or we're having a pullback. Let's investigate. Thanks for joining me. Now, don't be confused, okay? When I say it's doing this or this, I'm not like doing that bland generic video for YouTube for crypto where you just say, oh, it could go up or it could go down and try and hope that you can get a career off the back of that. No, let's actually try and do this a little bit more detailed than that, right? We've identified a couple of key zones for us with regards to the price action. You can see these lines on here, and that actually I left this Fibonacci on here to show you that from between the high, the first high that this coin got at 51 cents back there in the 21st of April 2019, and down to the low that we got back when everything had its big lows in the 13th of March, Friday the 13th of March 2020, that if you draw a Fibonacci between these two and then look to the extension, the 1618 is where the prices are right now. So it's not like horrifyingly unknown for the prices to have a retrace from this area. And that's one of the first things kind of, making me think along that way. Another thing that makes me think along that way is how if you connect up these highs, this is a logarithmic chart. I'll just pop it onto linear, by the way, so you can see that this is, when I'm talking about these highs, I'm talking about almost the entire trend that we've had. I know that it started off in March, but because as you can see here, that the differences between these price points were relatively small in terms of absolute value. It's only really kind of kicked off recently. And what you look at then in terms of these things is like, well, what's actually going on here? And if I straddle the price action at the top, upper and lower ends, then you can see that this could be an ascending, broadening wedge. Now the targets from ascending, broadening wedges, it's not like a measured move thing where you do one of these and you pop it down the way. Funnily enough, though, that is the target, because the target on an ascending, broadening wedge is actually the inception point, the initial part of it, and that would take you down to this area. Now, this area happens to be the 618 Fibonacci retracement zone and the 50% Fibonacci retracement zone from two Fibonaccis. Now, what are they? That's from the low in March the 13th up to the highs, and from the kickoff point of this like most latest trend, the most recent significant low to this high that we're having just in here, and that's the 618 and the 50%. So from the larger March to current zone, the 618, yada yada, and then this zone just here is the 236s of both of those Fibonacci areas, and as you can see, it actually lines up with the lower end of this zone if we were to come down right here right now. But that's not guaranteed by any means to happen. It's just curious to know that if we were to go down towards the lower end of this ascending, broadening wedge, from a market structure point of view, we wouldn't be taking out our previous lows. And I don't really like broadening wedges. They're my least liked type of wedge. And really, if we're going to be strict about this, let's say that this could easily just be, and let me line these up a bit straighter, a parallel channel that has wicks that go outside of the bodies, okay? So what am I wondering at the minute is, I'm wondering, could we see a pullback? And why would I think that? And is there any other confirmation out there possible for us? Well, if we look at the Bollinger Bands, you can see that the Bollinger Band zone here is down at about 150, and the prices are, of course, 148, and the prices are, 10% above that. And that's, well, the prices are, let me just measure it because I've said it wrong now. The prices are 10%, thank goodness, right? Above that right now. So we could see a bit of a pullback happening, jumping down the time frames towards the 4 hour, so we can see that this is actually existing outside of the Bollinger Band. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback down to any of these zones. So your best buy price area at the minute is providing that we don't go take out any of these big time targets that we're talking about, and we don't do a big trend changing, macro changing point of view thing, and we actually just have a sort of a little pullback at the minute, would be to look down towards perhaps this area and around about the 130 area if we see pullbacks over the next wee while, okay, or perhaps down to 140 or so. All I'm really saying is that I'm very much bullish on this. This is continuing towards the top side, but little factors are a bit disturbing towards the upward side movements, such as that divergence that we're seeing there on the MACD, such as over here on the RSI as well. Please, third time the good one, yes, where we're just here. Now we could push on, and if we pushed on a wee bit, we're right here at a zone where, of course, if we push on, we need to push on significantly to get to any next significant profit taking target in terms of the macro picture. But where could we go in the small term picture just to make it so that we can alleviate this this bearish divergence here and push on up towards the top side? What could we do if we wanted to do that? For instance, if we see the stochastics continue to move up the way and we get more continuation just now, where could we see it go into? These targets are all from the very broad term perspective, so it's no surprise to see profit taking happening just there. But where could it go to next? And what I'm looking to here is between the wick that we had just in here and the low over here. Now you might be wondering, why am I doing that? And that's a lot of it comes down to the sort of the algorithmic traders, etc. in the world. As you can see off the back of the Fibonacci I just drew in there now, the 1618 lines up perfectly with where we were looking at before in terms of these other Fibonacci's, exactly bang on as well with that. So no coincidence there, but we're also could be looking up towards the 2 area, and actually 2618 is going to be too far for me to look for. I'm much more inclined to look first off towards the 2.24, just shy of $2. Another 30 cents up would be your next target if you want to be bullish on it. Would I take a trade from here for that move? Absolutely not. Would I short it from here down towards these lower areas? I might, but I would be judicious about taking profit, and I'd also bear in mind that managing my risk at this wick is obviously important given the significance of that 1618 lining up perfectly as well with $1.60. I always love it when the price of a Fibonacci number lines is also happens to be the number as well. I mean, it's just like a conspiracy of confluence, right? So let's sanitize what we're talking about real quick here by just drawing in, by just looking at this versus Bitcoin, because people have been asking me to do that recently. So I'm just going to try and do that a little bit more. Great highs, fantastic. Same scenario, bearish divergence, same scenario. Yeah, same scenario with the divergence. Obviously, the trend aspect of this is slightly different as well, but this is the 4-hour time frame. Jumping back up towards the 24-hour time frame, you can see plenty of higher highs up above. In terms of this coin being a coin that only ever likes to go sideways, like I used to joke about, it can absolutely continue that nonsense if it likes to, living in price action where it's already been, no problem for it. I would expect to see a normal organic retrace at this point. We've just had a golden cross and we've not tested off of the 50 simple period moving average just yet. So really at the minute, what I'm looking to in terms of this thing is to have it drop down. Now this is a significant drop down in price from where we are just now, right now, never mind from our highs of the day. Measuring that in and looking down towards the 50 simple is a 38% drop off. So I'd just be very, very, very cautious at the minute. Of course, this is a strong bullish market that has the potential absolutely to keep going back into areas of of where we've been in the past. However, this right here over the next 48 hours is something to be aware of. Cool. Oh, like, subscribe. Thanks very much. Right.